Hi everyone, it's Justine. I've been getting into handbags lately. I'm not designing a handbag collection, don't worry, but it's such a small accessory and I was wondering how we got to the kinds of handbags that we see now. So today's video is a bit of fashion history. You like the previous one I did on modern fashion trends that are in fact very old, which is on my channel. So I'm hoping you're gonna like this one as well. And I think the topic of handbags is something that everyone is interested in. So this is my personal and totally subjective history of the handbag. Before we got to fancy handbags, handbags weren't fancy at all. In fact, they weren't even handbags, they were just bags. You had pretty much two options. Either you needed a comfortable bag to bring your belongings with you when traveling. That's the grandfather of today's messenger bag. If you were lucky, it came in embroidered leather, like this one. Or you were in town, business as usual, and you only needed to carry your coins around with you. Then you really only needed a little pouch like this one with a string closure. From ancient times to the Middle Age, which ended in about 1500 in Western Europe, that was about it. Bags were purely functional. Men and women alike would wear them. You would typically make your own bag in leather or fabric and keep it forever. There were no trends. You wear a big bag across your shoulder, crossing over. Today's called a crossbody. Or if you had a pouch, you would attach it to your belt or to your outfit somehow. You would always keep your hands free because really, who would sacrifice one hand to carry a stupid bag around? So that was until 1500 or so. Then in the 16th century, something crazy happened. Pockets were invented. Imagine now the bag was integrated in your garment, so you didn't have to carry around a bag at all anymore. Men said, awesome, and they ditched their bags. Women said, I still want a bag as an accessory, I think it's pretty. That's when things split. From that moment onwards, bags were more of a woman's thing. It became fashionable to carry a bag with a metal chain, a ring or a hook, so you could clip it onto your belt. This type of bag is called Chatelaine, which in French means woman who lives in a castle. Metal was a status symbol, so next to your Chatelaine, you'd hang also your keys, your sewing scissors, your sewing tools, anything made of metal that you owned. The keyword was show off everything you got. Then during the 17th and a part of the 18th century, dresses kept getting bigger and bigger. It's the era of Versailles, the Sun King, absolute monarchy, and unlimited budgets at the court. And that not just in France, but in whole of Western Europe. No point having a bag hanging from your belt when you can hide several ones right underneath your dress. So those were called thigh pockets, one on each side, huge ones. You wouldn't see them anyways because the dresses were so big. At the end of the 18th century, classicism got a revival. Everything Greek or Roman, historical was trending, and that also had a huge impact on fashion itself. Dresses got sleeker, thinner, so you couldn't really hide a bag under that anymore. So the bags got out again, and they were called reticules. It was a kind of slouchy bag that you held in your hand, which is something new, and it was meant to really be decorative. It was the first proper handbag. Some were in silk, with a cord strap and some decorations hanging. Others would be in lace. Usually, reticules were in soft fabrics. 19th century, the Industrial Revolution brought huge changes, one of them being the ability to travel by rail much more easily. So people started to need bags for more than one day, and they also needed luggage. Here comes in a young man who builds suitcases that are easy to staple. Very smart system. Last name Vuitton, first name Louis. He created his company in 1854, and the brown and beige canvas, which is so famous, was launched already in 1876. Talk about a classic piece. Now, until the 20th century, women weren't really traveling or going anywhere alone. Now, they're becoming more independent, and they want different bags for different purposes, so options are multiplying. Some bags for shopping, some bags for traveling, and some bags to go out. This little design by Van Cleef & Arpels around 1910 reminds of the Chatelaine bag. Clearly more a pretty bag than a truly functional one though. But little by little, bags to go out become stiffer. The stiffer, the more embellishments you can add on it. This Van Cleef & Arpels design from the 1930s is one of the first Minaudiere. Not much fits into it really, but God, it's pretty. And it's a piece of jewelry. You can match it with the rest of your jewelry and it becomes a completely different accessory. The 20th century is also the one of iconic bags. In the 1930s, Vuitton launches its Speedy bag, 30 centimeters long, as a practical option for one day or two. Later, the house will develop a 25 centimeter version because Audrey Hepburn thinks that 30 centimeters really are too much. In 1956, an actress named Grace Kelly gets to marry a prince, and she becomes Princess of Monaco. Her favorite handbag, which is by Hermès, is a quite flat one, which has been around since the 30s already, but her image sticks more, and Hermès renames the bag after her. The Kelly bag becomes a thing in 1977. In 1984, Hermès wins the jackpot again. They launch a bag designed for and named after Jane Birkin, the lover of Serge Gainsbourg, and a sex symbol as iconic as Brigitte Bardot at that time. You can recognize it thanks to the 3 tabs on the front. It is made of leather, but remains much more flexible than bags from that time. In 1993, Longchamp goes big too. They launch a smart bag called the Pliage, folding in French. It can be small or unfolded to have more storage space. It is light because it is a nylon canvas. And it is affordable, which makes it an international bestseller, especially among young women, young girls, who can't afford designer bags yet. Now, where does that leave us? Today we have multiple options in terms of handbags. We have totes, crossbodies, clutches, weekenders, and then we have backpacks, yoga bags, and a ton more. Brands like Chanel, Vuitton, and most brands in the fashion industry actually made accessories, and especially handbags, a pillar in their strategy. They're making lots of money out of it. Most designer bags now are designed to be in fashion and then go out of fashion, so you buy a new one. It is said that as a brand, you haven't made it in the fashion industry until you have designed an iconic bag that's timeless and that becomes a classic. So I haven't made it yet in the fashion industry. But the more interesting question is, what makes an iconic bag anyways? That's even $1 million question, which is why I started the research on handbags in the first place. Thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much. I'll see you Wednesday and Sunday, as every week. Take care. Bye bye.